G'day viewers, Peter here. How they hanging? I'm down at the lathe. I'm actually working on the Morris Minor. I was given the front end to grease. I grease the car every 3 months just because it's an old car and there's not a lot of maintenance on it. There's only 6 grease nipples at the front and 1 on the tail shaft. So I give it a shot of grease every 3 months, and I think that they do have a propensity for the front wheels to fall off, because the top trunnion, the only thing holding it in is the threads. I think it's a 5/16 Whitworth thread. And not the greatest of designs, but apparently it always happens at low speed, so it's not a big issue, but I don't want the front wheels to fall off. Anyway, so I was giving it a shot of grease today, and since I've had the car, which is about 5 years now, the wheel bearings have always been, it's got a castellated nut and it's only got 1 hole drilled through for the split pin, and it was always in between holes, so you either had it too tight or too loose, and I'm one of those people, I always err on the side of being too loose. But today I thought I'd try and do something about it. So what I've got is I found a washer. I couldn't find a washer with a 3/4 inch hole in the middle, so this one must be some metric at 17mm or something. Anyway, what we're going to do is, I don't know the thickness of this washer, so can you see that? So we're just going to take this out to 3/4. As you can see, the mounting is a bit precarious, but good enough for a freaking silly little job like this. And I mean, I've got a lathe, so why not use it? All right, so as you can see, I've got my vernier out. Presumably that hole is 3/4 inch now. I'll just rub it on my diamond plate, and I'll go up to the car and show you. So I'll join two videos together. So we'll see what happens, okay? All right, hooroo. Okay, so I'm away from the lathe and I'm back up at the car now. So I've just put this on together. I didn't film it because I only got one hand and I only do this for you bastards anyway. So I'll just show you, and some common sense things. It's in the daylight, so you might be able to see. I don't know if you can see the new washer is in there. I put it on this side. The other washer has a lug in it to register with this keyway. Now, because it's moved out, I don't know, 1.5 mil or whatever the thickness of the washer is, this split pin doesn't quite, the head doesn't go home now, but I'm not worried about that because there's plenty hanging out the bottom, and I'm truly not worried about that. Now, the thickness of it, this won't work if the thickness of your washer is exactly the same as the pitch of the thread. Now, I'm guessing this is Whitworth. I didn't measure it because I don't know if it's Whitworth or BSF, or I don't know what it is, because it could be anything on this car. So I just got a washer, and it was a little bit, I'll just zoom back. As you can see now, it spins pretty freely, and there's no, if you can imagine a 1/6 of a turn, whatever the pitch is, there was a fair bit of slop. But then if I took it up to the next hole, it was too tight, it was going to run hot. So what's a man to do? And I've run it like that for 5 years, but then I thought, no, today I've got the time. It's a lovely day here. Look at the blue sky. We're spoilt with blue sky in Australia. I remember when I went to England for six weeks, and that was in the middle of summer, and we had some 30-degree days, but the sky was never blue, and I missed it. So anyway, so I just found a washer at a random thickness, and then I machined it out because it wasn't 3/4, and when I put it in, it was too tight, or I wasn't happy with it. So I thought about, I've got a linisher, but this isn't a washer, but this is just a bit of belt sanding paper, and this is on a buzzer, a woodworking machine, because it's a flat table, and I just threw that on there, and then with my fingers I rubbed it thusly, and you'd be surprised that you've only got to take a couple of thou off and it makes a difference on the turn. So I did that both sides, and well, as I said, it took maybe 5 minutes or something, and I put it in, and now I'm happy with that. Although the first time I take it for a run, I'll check to see if the bearings are warm, but certainly it's closer, and that's my solution to if you've got a castellated nut. Now, I suppose I could have drilled another hole at 90 degrees for the split pin, but that would change the integrity of the stub axle, and although I'm sure it would be all right, I wasn't comfortable to do that. And the other thing that would have been easier, I could have taken the castellated nut and put it in the lathe and taken a couple of thou off that, and that would have been another solution. But I kind of like the idea that that's the original nut from the factory, and it's been designed and manufactured by an expert, someone that's smarter than me. So I just put that washer in there, and like I said, if I was unlucky, it would have been exactly the pitch, and so I've achieved nothing. But yeah, so I just got a metric washer, lathed it out to 3/4 of an inch, came up, it was still a bit tight, rubbed it on a bit of belt paper for 5 minutes, put it in, and I'm happy with it, and I think I can put this all back together, and it's a job I should have done 5 years ago, but I've been slack, so shoot me. All right, so uru. Another thing I was just doing, I was just putting this dust cap on, and as you can see, it's not quite home yet. A lot of people, I can't do this because I've only got one hand. There's a lot of people that hit that on with a hammer, and you can see it's been done before, and I just think that's pretty slack. And then other people think you've got to get a socket exactly that size and hammer it on, and that's probably the best answer if you've got a socket exactly the right size. But what I do, and I've always done this, and I just put the screwdriver there, see it's on the flange, and tap tap, and then from the bottom tap tap, from the top tap tap, from the bottom tap tap, and it seems to work for me, and to me that's my solution. Anyway, that's for what it's worth. Bye bye.